That's my cue. Hi, everybody. My name is Scott Mantz. Welcome to SAG-AFTRA Foundation special screening of Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. What'd you think? So talk about a word of mouth hit film. This is a movie that appeals to everyone from age 6 to 60. I mean, people have seen the movie many times. It's made $887 million worldwide. Wow, right? And it was like, it opened, it was number 2, and then it was number 2, and then it was number 1. It was number 1, number 1, number 2, number 1, number 1. I mean, that doesn't happen a lot, you know, even with the biggest movies. Even Star Wars falls off after a couple weeks. But not Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. So please welcome one of the stars of Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, Sir Darius Blain. Have a seat, sir. Okay, now, admit it. So, you're told they're making a reboot of Jumanji. Tell me you didn't go, ugh.
I didn't go, ugh, but I was like, what does that have to do with me? Like, like they need an 18-year-old football player. I was like, yeah, what does that have to do with me? So, I mean, it was a shock, but, you know.
But the amazing thing about this film, about how successful it's been, I mean, what's your take on that? Why do you think everyone has just, around the world, has been embracing this movie?
Well, first of all, you know, when you get big tentpole titles, first of all, thank you all for being here. What? SAG Conversations? Scott actually showed up, and I'm not just reading questions from my cell phone. This is cool. When you see a title like that, you automatically assume something like that is going to do well. But in being in this business long enough now, I really realize nothing is a sure thing. And so I was actually nervous to begin with. But when I read the script, I instantly loved it. I was like, how could anybody not like this? You know, I was laughing reading the first 5 pages, even myself. There's been a few changes since then, but yeah, I'm just taking this all in. I still can't believe it, to be honest with you, but I'm relieved more than anything. You know, when you finish a job like this, you're glad to have gotten through it without getting fired or without anybody figuring out that you're not actually 18. But
it's Hollywood.
It's been an insane ride, and every week, you know, some new accolade comes out, and I'm like, wow, this is incredible. I mean, we are the first movie to stay at number 1 for, you know, 7 weeks after its release since Titanic, you know, which is incredible. So, I mean, I'll take that.
And just perspective, that was 20 years ago.
Please.
That was 20 years ago, Titanic.
That was 20 years ago?
20 years ago, yes. 97 and 98. But, you know, this is a film that, because it has touched so many people, it has an unusual, you know, framework. You know, you're like, you bookend the film. Right. And, you know, Kevin Hart plays like your avatar. Right. And, you know, I'm just curious, like, because he's very much Kevin Hart, but he's very much Fridge. Right. So, like, what kind of conversations did you have so that there was consistency between the two, so it wasn't like a completely different character?
I mean, Kevin Hart has a little bit of energy. I don't know if you've noticed. And so he's already got this huge personality. I have a big frame, but I'm a pretty docile person, to be honest. But when I met him, I just kind of started noticing some of the similarities that we have. He has gravitas and, you know, personality. When he walks into a room, you know he's there instantly. And if I'm in a bad mood, you know I'm there. Right, Priya? Where are you? Where's my manager? Okay. It's my manager, Priya, and Will Douglas over here, my beautiful publicist, Jessica Katz. So I pulled from the similarity. He cusses a lot, and I do too, unfortunately. I just kind of started studying some of his body movements. He's an athlete. You know, I don't care how 5'3" he is. He's an athlete, and we kind of have a similar background. I'm an athlete as well. You know, played basketball in college as well. And so just kind of pulled from that, and I kind of asked him and game plan with him in terms of like what some of his isms are. Are we doing hand movements kind of thing? Is that going to be kind of a repeat? But Jack had already called that one, you know. But he was like, you know, he basically told me that he was going to embody the fact that he's a big man in a little body. And so he's just going to be big. So if you see him walking in the movie, his legs are out, even with the backpack on, and he's big still. He doesn't know that he's small. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be big. And so if you see some of the scenes where I'm standing next to, you know, Madison or Alex Wolff and all them, I just kind of tower over them. So I was like, all right, he's going to tower over them personality-wise. I'll do it physically. And so that was kind of some of the similarities.
Now, Dwayne Johnson, I guess this guy doesn't sleep. He's in like everything. But you know, this was it was so fun to see him to sort of play someone vulnerable. But so were you able to see him during the making of the film?
Of course. I mean, any opportunity I ever had, when I get an opportunity to work with people like that who've had, you know, these long-standing careers, or, you know, these are movie stars 1 and 1A. Anytime I have an opportunity to be a fly on anybody's wall, I make sure that I go and just try to sponge from them as much as possible. And so, you know, we didn't shoot scenes together, obviously, because we couldn't. But whenever I had an opportunity to go watch them work, I went and I watched them work, and I watched them work and work and work and work and work. You know, between takes, when, you know, they're getting their hair and makeup done and stuff like that, you know, Kevin's signing off on one of his 6 companies. You know, Dwayne is too. You know, Dwayne is a producer on this with $7 Prod as well. So he's doing approvals and stuff, and then he's getting ready for Ballers, and he's approving clothing for his Under Armour line, and he's, you know what I mean? He's got 3 other shows, you know what I mean? So, you know, I thought that I worked hard until I saw these guys work hard, and I was like, oh shit, I'm not doing anything.
You're like a slacker.
I'm a slacker. It's like, so what? You're up at 5:30 in the morning. It doesn't matter. Get up at 3, you know? So yeah, I got an opportunity to watch them work, and they still bring the artistic side. You know, I got to tell you this story. When I first got to Hawaii for our table read, because they shot most of the movie in Hawaii, I got to the table read, and I had like marked up my script and blah, blah, blah. What's up, Andrew? I had marked up my script and highlighted stuff and memorized my lines for a table read, okay? Because I was like, I want to show them I want to be here, just in case they find out I'm not 18. And Kevin was sitting right next to me. You know, we each had to sit next to our avatars, and it looks ridiculous, this 6'5" guy sitting next to the 5'3" guy whose legs are like teetering off the edge. And the whole time we're going through the script or through the table read, every exec from Sony is there. They flew in for a couple of days, and I'm going through the script along with the readers and everything like that, and Kevin's on his cell phone the whole time. Like, he's not even remembering to switch pages. Like, he's got an assistant coming up and like switching a page, and he's just like texting, blah, blah, or doing whatever he's doing. And so I was like, man, okay, must be nice to be a star. Anyway, at the end, the producer, the writer, and the director all asked us if we had any input about the script. And so I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I mean, I'll wait for them. You know, this is their movie. You know, I'll wait for them to talk. Kevin was like, okay, page 67, about 3/4 down, there's a joke here. It doesn't work. Let's switch that with this, blah, blah, blah. He had marked every single page in his mind already and knew what needed to be changed and what would make the other actors better in the scene, though, you know, while making him the butt of the joke. You know, he had marked all of that while he was taking care of business on his cell phone. And I was like, wow, this guy's able to be in 2 places at one time. So it was kind of incredible to see, you know. Yeah, and the Rock did it too. That last scene wasn't originally written like that. The last 7 pages when he gets on the motorcycle and blah, blah, blah. He wrote that at the table read that day, and production was like, okay, that's going to be $7 million, but sure. Sure. And it worked. You know, it worked. Did you say 887? You sure it's not 900?
887 million.
All right, I'll take that.
As of last week.
I'll take that. Mark that down. Mark that down. Okay.
But I was going to ask you, did you learn anything from the cast, especially this cast? But it sounds like you did.
I did, but I mean, not just Kevin and DJ though. I mean, Jack Black is honestly the nicest guy I've ever met. That same day, the table read, he walked me and my other castmates down, and he was like, look, I want you guys to know how important you are to this movie. You guys introduce us, and you send us off as well. So anything you need, anything, any script changes, anything you need, funnel it through me. I'll just make it my idea. You know what I'm saying? And he walked us off, to our cars and like gave us a hug. And I was like, this big old furry Kung Fu Panda guy. You don't stop making a black man blush, girl. You better no. So I learned something about longevity there, because obviously he's talented. Obviously he's been here for a long time, but he's a giving, genuine soul as well. Yeah. Karen Gillan, she works hard always. She did all her own stunts, basically. They had stunt people there, but she did all her own stuff, and she's super sweet. Nick Jonas shows up ready to work more than anybody because he doesn't want to just be seen as a musician. You know what I'm saying? And so everybody taught me something from there. Alex Wolf, even my younger castmates who I lied to the whole time and told them that I was 21 and a half. He's got this carefree spirit about him. Really polite, engaging, funny. Everybody just had something that they brought to the table, and it made for a really cohesive work environment.
What about Jake Kasdan, the director? What kind of an actor's director is Jake Kasdan?
An incredible one, but I mean, he has the advantage of having a father. His dad wrote The Empire Strikes Back, and he's incredible. Doesn't suck.
And Raiders of the Lost Ark.
And Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? And this incredible Oscar-winning, writer, director. And so I think that he's maybe grown up around the business enough to like learn how to treat people. This guy, anything that you want to do, he makes you feel like, I don't care if you're flipping sandwiches on set, he makes you feel important and like you have some sort of input. The last person I worked with that was like that was reminiscent of that, was J.J. Abrams. And he's very similar in the same way that he never says no to you. He just doesn't, and you're not even tempted to take advantage of that because you want him to be happy as well. So it's a very, again, cohesive work environment. It's very collaborative. You feel like you own a piece of it. He let me improv. He let me, have my fun. But, again, for me, I'm always like, okay, do exactly what's written. And then after that, if you got some more time, then kind of do what you want. From the gate, he was like, look, don't be married to this. He's like, throw this out. He like literally took my script and just threw it out. He's like, you guys just have fun, do this. It's not rocket science, but, he's very accommodating.
Now, what was your first day of filming like, and what was your last day of filming like?
I don't remember my first day, to be perfectly honest with you, because I'm the person who goes like in hyper-focus mode. And sometimes I can't see the forest because of the trees, but I've had to try to learn to like take in each moment. And I didn't take in each moment until that last day. And the last day of shooting was when we actually got sucked into the video game. It was the very last day of production, period. And I was standing there in this basement, and I'm going through my actor's process because I'm being a good little actor. And I was like, you know what? Okay, so what's it gonna look like when we get sucked in? And he showed us a little video on the iPad, like kind of what it's gonna look like. And I was like, okay, how does one actively get sucked into a video game? And I started thinking about it. I was like, wait, I'm getting sucked into a video game. And I was like, wait, I'm getting sucked into Jumanji? What the, And in that moment, I can?
Go ahead.
What the fuck? My mom's not here, is she? No, she's not here. Okay. But in that moment, I was like, oh my God, like this is a moment that I'm never going to have again. I'm never going to get sucked into Jumanji again. But it dawned on me in that moment what we were doing, what we were creating. And I was happy with everything that I had seen so far. And I just screamed out. I was like, I love my effing job. Right then, it's like 150 people on set and everybody like stops like, I'm like, yeah, we love ours too. Like, can you stand on your mark? Thanks. And it was like, oh yeah. So that was my last day of filming. But yeah, I mean this is crazy.
I mean, I read the websites and the Variety, Reporter, Deadline, all those things every single day, 5 times a day. Has there been talk of a sequel?
I think so. Yeah, there has been. I mean, I'm hoping we get to be in that one, right? Right? Yeah. I mean, they said they were going to bring back an ensemble cast. You know, I don't count my chickens before they hatch, you know. I'm just glad to have been in this one. So if it happens, then fantastic. You know, hopefully it works out with my work schedule. Got us, Warren Priya.
Speaking of your work schedule, you just got cast in a pilot.
See how I did that? I threw that. Oop.
I like
caught
that.
It. Yeah, I just, wow, I'm still kind of pinching myself about it. Just got cast as a lead in the new Charmed series on the CW. So
ooh, yeah.
I'm excited about that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I have to ask you, I love asking this question, here at SAG-AFTRA Foundation.
How come I don't get the SAG-AFTRA Foundation thing on my mic, though? That's what I want to know.
You want it?
Let's switch. Let me see that. Wait, don't take that off. Just give me the mic. No, keep it, Scott. You just made this so complicated. I'm
very accommodating. What is, Sedaris, important question,
Yeah.
what is your favorite movie of all time?
You had to do that, huh?
Yes.
All time?
All time.
Can I get like
3.
Okay, thank you. You're a decent man. You're all right. Don't care what they say about you in the back. Favorite 3.
I know, it's tough.
Lion King has to be one of them. I'm gonna throw the animated one in there. It's Hamlet. It is. First movie to make me cry. I was 6 years old. Don't do the math. Okay. Glory made me want to act.
That was my next question.
And I had a meeting. I was on hold for a project with Edward Zwick a couple months ago. Remember that crazy morning over there? And so I was like, man, I don't care if I get this job. I just want to tell this dude he changed my life. The performances in that movie as a 4-year-old boy, I was 4 when I saw that movie. I knew something was special. I had goosebumps. I still have goosebumps every time I watch it. I watch it like once or twice a year. I always take it with me on the road. And that movie, that's probably my favorite movie of all time. I was really dark. I was a weird kid. I liked really deep dramas. I like A Time to Kill and stuff like that. But I know you said 3, but I'm just gonna rattle off like 10 real fast. Love and Basketball, Legends of the Fall, What's Eating Gilbert Grape was a phenomenon that's not talked about enough. Leonardo DiCaprio should have gotten an Oscar then, so yeah, it was incredible. Love and Basketball, God, I love that. Remember the Titans made me want to be on a team of some sort. What's that?
Both of those movies came out in 2000.
You're
Love and
just like-
Basketball and Remember the Titans.
99.
2000.
Love and Basketball was 99.
Are you sure?
I was in 7th grade. It was the first time I made out with a girl.
I
Her mama
stand
wasn't
corrected.
home.
All right. I am not going to argue with that.
Don't get me on that one.
So Glory made you want to act. Actually, that was
Yeah,
one of my
it
questions
did.
here.
It did.
So thank you for
Mystic River.
Mystic River.
Jesus.
Wow, 2003.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I won't argue with you on that one. There was nothing significant happened. It was a dry year. But,
How did you get your SAG card?
I got my SAG card through my first movie that I ever booked, which was 2 months into me living here in LA, through Footloose. I was Taft Hart lead for that one. I was like, okay, cool. I don't have to get my SAG card because I would have to book another job in the next 60 days. And then I did. So I was like, damn it, $3,000. God. Okay, there we go.
Footloose, 2011.
Yeah, I think I still owe y'all 20 on that one. But,
Now, what was the best acting advice you got, whether it was from a teacher, a fellow actor, actress, director, producer, something that stayed with you and that you take from show and film to show and film?
I got 2 sets of advice from 2 very different places. Jim Caviezel, when the game stands tall, it was on his coverage, and I had like this big emotional scene where my mom is dying in the next room, and I have to be the man of the house now, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. My dad has passed away too. And so it was his coverage, and I was acting my heart out because I was like, I'm not gonna be the weak link on this one. It's like overdoing things, and I was going there. I was crying and everything on the other side of the camera, and he like basically was like, all right, cut, hold on, Sudarius, come here, come, let me talk to you. And like grabs my neck, and he's like, hey, Sudarius, listen, you're doing beautiful work. It's just beautiful, but just save it. I mean, I don't need it. Just save it for yourself. And I was like, save it for myself. I'm not selfish. At all. That's what I was thinking. And he was like, no, trust me. He was like, trust me. You need it more than I do. So just save it for yourself. And he was basically telling me to do it for me. Acting can be therapeutic at times. Jason Beige as well. When I did a episode of Chicago PD a couple years ago. That was a therapeutic moment for me. At that time, I had become a new father 6 months before that. Thank you. He drives me crazy. I had become a new father 6 months before that, and 3 months before that, my brother had passed away. My brother was murdered in Miami. And so I used kind of that episode as a release, and I didn't realize it until it was actually happening. And Jason Beige came over to me, and he was like, hey, kid, you're doing incredible work right now. Don't let nobody tell you shit, okay? Anything you need, you let me know, So he was just like really cool. Just, very giving, let me do my thing. But the second piece of great advice I ever got was from my mentor, Maury Ginsberg, New York Conservatory of Dramatic Arts. Whoop, whoop. One day I came to class and we were doing a comedic scene, and I was terrified of comedy because I was like, I'm not funny. And, I started working the scene and stuff, and he's like, cut, just stop. And I was like, what? He's such a nice guy. He's never angry about anything. And he was like, I don't understand you. He's like, you've got this big frame and you don't ever use it, and you come in here and you pussyfoot around and you're like, oh, I'm Sudarius, I'm big, And he was like, if you're big, be big. If you're small, be small. If you're strong, be strong. If you're weak, be weak. Be good at whatever it is that you are good at. Whatever it is that is like, he's like, you got these big shoulders for a reason. You're meant to carry things. So come in and carry yourself at least. And I was like, okay, so I'm big, so I should be big. Okay, let me do this. Because I lied for years too, even about my height and everything, because you know how big of a deterrent that can be in this business too. But it's like, they gonna know I'm big when I walk in here, so embrace it. And now I'm fridge. This is crazy. But he just told me to be me, be myself, fill out whatever hopes and dreams are in you, be big in them. You know what I mean? Basically. And that's been his word to me over the years as well.
Bucket list, actors, actresses, directors you really want to work with.
Ed Zwick, Antoine Fuqua, Steve McQueen. Actors, Denzel Washington and Will Smith are the reasons I do this. Josh Hartnett, oddly enough, love him to death.
Random.
Meryl Streep. I mean, I could say the regular people. We know this. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I have a whole list that I sent my team like every few months, like just in case they're doing anything, let me know. I would love to work with J.J. Abrams again, on something that's not kind of a bit role. It was just so much fun working with him. Neil Marin, Craig Zaden, two of my favorite producers as well. It's anybody who's doing good stuff and they like their job. Those are the people I want to work with. I cashed out. I did way more than I should have ever done. I didn't think I would get anything when I moved out here, to be honest with you. I mean, we say that we believe in ourselves and stuff like that, and then when it starts happening, you're like, holy what? And so that's where I am right now. I'm playing with house money, so I just want to work with people who love their jobs, man. That's it.
Well, you told us about the advice you shared. Nate, do you have any further advice you would like to share with the actors in this audience? No pressure.
Honestly, get a job, get your hands dirty. Don't be above the work. That's my biggest thing. Like, do not be above the work. And what I mean by that is, like, I was fighting like a few weeks ago to do this student project in New York still, because I thought that this kid has something to offer or will. And the fact that he had the balls to DM me on Instagram and ask me to be in his movie, I was like, okay, I like that. Have some chutzpah. But don't be above the work. The work can be that restaurant job that you're working 9 to 5 that you hate. I've been there. I was a server for 10 years. The retail job where nobody's folding their shirts and you're feeling like crap and you're like, man, I got to get home at 12:30 and work on these sides till 3 a.m. to be up for my audition at 9, or, don't be above the work. It makes you appreciate it more when you get it, This is hard, man. This is really fucking hard. It is. And even when you get it, you don't got it. So just don't be above the work. Keep trying to get better every single day. I just sent my team a text last Friday. I was like, hey, guys, I feel like my auditions are good, but is there anything I need to work on? I'm not feeling like getting any callbacks. Little did I know I was testing for something, a couple of days later. But just don't be above the work. Just keep trying to get better, man, all the time. And this is a numbers game. It's all about, the race isn't given to the swift or the strong, but to the one who endures to the end. It's a marathon, not a sprint. We know all of these old adages. Just keep going. I want to quit on a weekly basis almost, but the way I'm built, I can't do it. Just can't do it. Can't quit, man. Just keep going. That's it.
Keep going and keep doing what you do, because you are doing great work, and we can't wait to see what's next. We already know what's next, but keep doing your thing. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Darius Blain.